This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. And today we talk about Toys for Tots for 2019. The coordinators are with us and will join us in a moment. But first, here is Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director of the Resource Center. Thank you for inviting me back down to your beautiful Dunham Avenue administrative offices for this show.
Hey, Dennis, thanks for coming down.
Tastefully decorated for the holidays, of course, and filled with a holiday spirit.
You know, and the transition this week from Thanksgiving to Christmas happened very rapidly. I don't know if that's because of the tight window this year between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but the Thanksgiving decoration, we're recording the show on Tuesday, and the Thanksgiving decorations were coming down yesterday, and Christmas was going up.
And this, as it's broadcast on Saturday, is a very important day for Toys for Tots, for the Resource Center, for a lot of other things that are happening here. We are, as we speak, looking back at the parade, but we will give you the flavor and the feel of that for a few minutes right at the end of this show. But Steve, just your sense of this moment as you embark on Toys for Tots, and I believe I read for the 19th year.
19th or 20th, who keeps count? But it sure seems as though this year we have more collection bins out in the community. We have more sponsors, so I don't know what it is, but the community has really gotten behind this effort again this year, as they always do, because the Resource Center and the Chautauqua Connections Children's Coalition couldn't do it on our own. We couldn't do it without the support of the community, and boy, have they stepped up.
The coalition you mentioned a moment ago is something we'll get back to. But Terry Johnson and Heather Brown, coordinators for Toys for Tots since the beginning, are with me now. And Terry, it's great to have this reunion and to talk about this subject once again.
Thank you, Dennis. It's always good to have you here.
So we were waffling a little bit there. Is it 19 or 20 years?
Yeah.
See, I'm looking at Steve Watterson's release, and it says for the 19th straight year. So
I think that's probably right. If we go back to the historical records, that's probably...
Well, enough of the historical records. Let us talk about Toys for Tots this year, because it is happening right now. You have goals, you have deadlines, you have information, and let's share some of it with the audience right now.
Yes, as Steve mentioned, the holiday season is quickly coming upon us, and so we have a much smaller window of time this year between Thanksgiving being as late as it was this year and our distribution being a week before Christmas. Because of the way that the holidays fall, it's really 2 weekends before, and so we are in crunch time to try to get everything done and gather toys. We have a lot of fundraising events going on and a lot of community happening. So today, the day that this is airing, we have our holiday shopping extravaganza that we'll probably talk a little bit more about. And we have some other fundraisers going on. We have a raffle that is our main fundraiser for this toy season. So people can buy raffle tickets to pretty remarkable prizes, I think. They're $10 each or 3 for $20. And one of the prizes is 2 tickets to Southwest Airlines, an unopened roll of 250 New York Lottery tickets, scratch-off tickets, a 50-inch flat-screen TV that was donated by Sloan Malhewish Insurance, a $100 Wegmans gift card, and a basket of cheer.
Now, somebody could win one of those prizes if they buy a ticket.
Yep, that's correct.
How do they buy a ticket?
They can call the Resource Center and ask for Heather or myself, or they can come to 200 Dunham Avenue, and we are selling them at the front desk.
Now, what is the absolute final day that people could put toys in a box or contribute otherwise? Because we know people are busy doing their holiday shopping right now. They see your boxes all over town. They say Toys for Tots on them. And when should they make sure that a toy or two is deposited in a number of those boxes?
So most of the boxes are going to be coming back on Friday, December 13th, because we will be doing our main distribution on the 14th. However, there are a couple of organizations and businesses that are either having their holiday parties that weekend or have something going on early on Monday or Tuesday. So a couple of places have asked if they could keep their box into Monday or Tuesday, because we will be, as we usually do, have a few last-minute apps on Monday the 16th and Tuesday the 17th. So for the most part, everybody should plan on getting their donations in by the 13th, and we will have our volunteers going out on the 13th, bringing all of the collection boxes back into us.
Well, this is quite an extraordinary push then, because this program is airing on the 7th of December, and you need the toys really within the next 6 days, within less than a week.
Yes. So I said, well, it's crunch time. This is, I think, probably the shortest window between Thanksgiving and our distribution date that we've ever had in the last 19 or 20 years.
How many toys do you think you will need this year? Do you have any way to judge that, Terry?
Well, we have a better idea than what we've had in the past because we do online applications now. Last year was the first year that we did that, so we can see the applications come in as they're hitting the feed. One of the benefits of that is that our application deadline is open longer than it had been in the past because it's on real time. So we have our application, normally our deadline would have already passed, but we have it open another week through December 8th. And so we're seeing them come in, and we are just under where we were last year at this time. So I am anticipating that we will probably be where we were last year, which was our highest ever year. So time will tell, but as of right now, we're going to probably still need at least 6,000 toys, at least, to get us through.
That's what Steve Watterson had written in the news release that I want to get back to in just a minute here. 3,213 local children received toys last year. Everybody, you'd like to give 2 toys, a large gift and a smaller one to each child, so that brings you right into that 6,000 range. Do you feel at this moment, as we record this, as it is broadcast less than a week before the final collection, that you're going to make it? Are you in desperate need of toys? I mean, just kind of evaluate that for me for a moment, Terry.
Well, it never looks like enough. And if you remember last year what happened, we started doing our distribution to do our case manager applicants the week before, and we were almost depleted dry just from the ones that the agencies were going to be picking up. And so we had a bit of a panic last year, and we made a plea out to the community to help us. So at that point last year, I would have said prior to that happening that we had enough toys probably to get us through, and we weren't even close. And it's hard to tell right now because things are in boxes, and we're trying to get them sorted out. It's hard to really get a grasp on how much you really have because there's so much that it's still coming in. So we have volunteers that have adopted all of the box sites that are coming in twice a week dropping off toys. I think the good sign is that we've had some volunteers say, my box was full, I had to empty it, and I don't have any room in my car, and I can't wait until the next drop-off. Can you meet me down there? So that's a good sign that people are being generous, and I think people are in the giving spirit this year, and people are giving toys. Whether it's enough, I think it's too soon to tell. We did put in a request for the Toys for Tots Foundation for some supplemental toys. We did receive some initially, but after where our numbers were on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, we did put in a request. So we're awaiting to see if we will receive any additional toys from the Toys for Tots Foundation as well.
Okay, 2 things quickly before I leave you, and Heather Brown is coming next. But there's something important that you touched upon that is going on today, and I just want to get back to it for a moment here. The holiday shopping extravaganza right here at 200 Dunham Avenue in your conference center. What all, if people were to come down right after or in the midst of hearing this program till 4 o'clock this afternoon as it's broadcast, what would they find here?
Well, this is an event that is being led. It's been several years now that Evelyn Wright Kegelmeyer, who works at the Resource Center, has coordinated this event solely on her own with her friends and family. And it's a craft bazaar. There's a lot of different vendors that are here with different baked goods and items to sell and different craft items. And so you can do that. There's going to be a Chinese auction. All of the vendors donate an item for the auction. And there's food and refreshments available. And it really is a good time. And it's a good way to do some of that last-minute shopping that if people are waiting to the last minute to do. And additionally there, we will be selling some of those raffle tickets that I mentioned earlier at that event.
And where are all the toys being collected this year? You always get the help from someone in the community, and I have a sense that it might be the same someone, but you tell me, where are the toys being collected this year?
Our Toy Central is once again being housed at Allied Alarm. Mike Roberts has again this year donated space to us and is letting us commandeer his practically the whole building for these last couple of months.
Were it not for the fact that you and the person I'm about to introduce, Heather Brown, had responsibilities here at Dunham Avenue, we might well have been at Toy Central today, but you have been doing your other work for the Resource Center. Toys for Tots is not all you do here at Dunham Avenue today. Heather Brown, welcome back to Share the Vision. It is a joy to touch base with you, to communicate with you about Toys for Tots this year.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas season.
It is a wonderful time and one of great giving. You have some things in front of you that I know you want to talk about relating to the Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots here in Chautauqua County. So I'm just going to let you cut loose here for a moment.
Super. Every year we talk about how we're just coordinating it, but it's really the whole community. And every year we've gotten more and more box sites. I have a list here, and it would be impossible to read them, but we're near 150 collection sites all across Chautauqua County, and so many new sites. We have these listed on our website and our social media, but most of the car dealers, real estate agents, every Dollar General, businesses, schools. Bemis Point has a new presence for the second year in a row, and they've been a really strong partner. We have a volunteer that lives in the Bemis community, and we have a box at the elementary school, Bemis Point Golf Course, Bemis Point Inn, places like Brookdale and Lakewood. Again, I've got 2 pages. It just goes on and on. The Northwest Ice Arena, we had the teddy bear toss. We received 522 teddy bears thrown onto the ice Saturday night that are going to get into the hands of 522 children.
Glad you got that number in there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Again, any resource center site, people can bring toys to. Hair salons, Red Lobster, Ring School, Robo, Tanglewood, all of the Tim Hortons locations. Again, I could talk for a half an hour, but it's just really important. In most of these, we call people, but the number of people calling us saying, I want to be a box site, that has just turned over the last probably 5 years. We used to have to do all the calling. Will you do it? Will you do it? Now they're calling us, filling out the email, sending us forms. So everybody wants to take part.
On your other papers here, there are a lot of businesses and organizations listed, and I bet you would like to say something about them.
I would. And this is another key way that some of our large businesses really put a lot behind it, and these are our sponsors. We have the presenting sponsor, again, this year is SKF, and we just can't say enough about what they do. They present us a very large monetary donation, but they also send a team of volunteers during the main bagging day and a semi. Because what has happened is we only have one warehouse, but we serve the whole county. So we need to transport hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of toys prepared for families to the North County in order for distribution. And we had accomplished that many years. We started doing it with a few cars, and then we moved to a few vans. And then last year, when that was getting to be 400, 500, 600 families in the north part of the county, we just happened to have a relationship with SKF, and they said, well, what if we brought a semi? And, the rest is history. So amazing. Matco Tool, again, a very large financial sponsor. Kirk's Jewelers, a lot of effort there in the North County. Super people.
Stay tuned for a story about them in a moment.
Prevention Works, Saxton Coker and Associates, Bly Shupfield Barger, Lakewood Rod and Gun, Lynn Funeral Home, Jamestown Awning, Greater Woodlawn. Then back to some of our large sponsors, our Bush Industries, First Lutheran Church, their thrift shop, great partnership, Chautauqua Connections, and Dahlstrom's. So again, some of these have been multi-year, and some of them are brand new, and they're just connecting with us.
I was just going to say, having done this program and helped promote this, I think every year that it has happened in Chautauqua County under the aegis of the Resource Center, this sounds like the greatest number of community partners, one level, one way or another, that you have ever had.
It does. And I'm looking at 2 different pieces of paper in front of me because all of them didn't fit on one sheet, and we were ready to print them. And what happens, they provide us a monetary donation. They're sponsors of the season. And then we have these logos that go on all the boxes. So their logos are out at 150 different businesses and community partners thanking them. So that's why they had to flow over onto 2 sheets this year and 2 sets of stickers because we ran out of space.
Heather Brown, any particular toys? I ask this question every year, but people who are shopping, and again, they would like the toys, as Terry Johnson said a few minutes ago, contributed by the 13th of December. So very quick, soon, do this, folks. Anything in particular that you know from past years you would like to make sure gets contributed?
Probably we always struggle with both ends of the spectrum, the babies and the teenagers. We do serve from baby up to age 17. I mean, they're still children. They're still in school. They need to feel part of the holiday magic. So any unique, creative ideas, what do teenagers want? They need something to open. So, focus on that. And a lot of is because the Middle Ages, something can be appropriate for maybe a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, but you start getting into the real little ones and the older ones, the gifts can't stretch quite into the same age group. Mm-hmm. So think about those other ends of the spectrums.
And Terry had mentioned Coalition briefly, and there's another partner, another coordinator who's a part of this but not in the room with us, and I just wanted you to mention him for a moment here at this point in the show.
Absolutely. Patrick Smeraldo is the third coordinator, and he works for Jamestown Public Schools, but he also heads up the Children's Coalition, which falls under Chautauqua Connections, Inc. So he really works with all of the partners, the school districts, everybody working with children in that 0 to 5 space in Chautauqua County, and has pulled in a lot of additional volunteers, a lot of additional school districts. So, yeah, he's probably at school. So,
well, I did want to make sure that he was mentioned because he's been working with you for a number of years now to make this program successful. And Heather, just your sense, as I spoke with Terry, your emotion as you get into this for what we believe is the 19th year, if we've counted it up right, and how it has changed and grown, and the effort that it takes during a very busy time of the year for the two of you and for everybody else involved.
I think it's nervous anticipation. Some of it from year to year, it's the same, but then there's always changes. The space changes a little bit. We've gone very high tech with online applications, and it was very successful last year, so we really took it to the next level. And everything's online this year, and it seems to be going over very well. But anytime something new, it makes you a little anxious. And then always just knowing, because there's this 2-week period where the applications are still coming in, the toys are coming in, they're not unpacked yet, there's no way to count and inventory it, and you really don't know at the end if it's going to match up. So nervous anticipation.
I would offer you, if you need it, to this radio program, this radio station, if you find yourself in a clutch situation as you did last year, that we would be happy to put that appeal out to the community again. One of the other things that I know helps make this program successful, reflecting on past years, is the number of volunteers. Do you have enough people that you know of to do the sorting, to help with the distributions when they come really, as this is broadcast, just a weekend away?
We could use more volunteers during the weekdays next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have agencies, schools, and groups coming at different times on each one of those days, and there's going to be a lot of warehouse-type work as well, because the toys will be coming in every day that need unpacked and sorted. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of volunteers doing all sorts of different things, but really those days next week, and the easiest way to probably get a hold of us is through the email, because we're sure to answer that probably 24/7, it seems like this time of the year. And it's toysfortots@resourcecenter.org. You can also search it at the Toys for Tots website, but Toys for Tots spelled out at resourcecenter.org.
And we're really talking about the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Those are the days that you would like people to be able to volunteer. What particular time of day?
It's mainly the late afternoon and evening each one of those days, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. So if somebody is interested, they can drop us an email and we can give them the exacts, but most of them are afternoon. One of the days is like 4 to 6, but most of them are like a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 that week.
Toys for Tots at resourcecenter.org for Tuesday through Friday of next week. Okay. Heather Brown, anything else that you would like to speak to before I go back to Terry for a moment?
Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. Kirk's Jewelers came up a moment ago in the conversation in terms of their partnership and the hard work that they are doing in northern Chautauqua County. And Terry Johnson gave us a little clue before the program actually started today. There is a very heart-gripping, tear-jerking story that involves Kirk's and a family from Westfield. So I'll just let you tell the story.
So we have one every year, don't we? I mean, there's
At
always
least.
at least one story that tugs at our heartstrings. So we found out last week there's a little girl in Westfield. Her name is Sage, and she had a birthday party. She turned 10, and she got 42 toys at her birthday party.
Lucky girl.
I know. She must have a lot of friends, and you can tell by the story that she's got a big heart, so there's no wonder that she had 42 gifts that she got for her birthday. And she wanted to donate them all to Toys for Tots.
Every single one.
Every single one. And so they called to find out where there's collection sites in their area. So they ended up going to Kirk's Jewelers to drop the toys off in that collection site, just because it was easier than driving to the warehouse in Falconer. And Kirk was so touched and moved by Sage's generosity that not only is he a sponsor for the season this year, he also decided he was going to match her donation of the 42 toys. So he was going to be doubling her 42 toy donation. So it was just a great story to hear that had happened. And then Dan Palmer from WDOE ended up naming Sage as Person of the Day earlier in the week.
Now, Kirk's is in Fredonia.
Yes, it's a jewelry store.
So people may not connect with that directly here in southern Chautauqua County unless they have shopped there or perhaps seen the signs. I certainly have. But how generous of Sage and how generous of Kirk's Jewelers. Do you know how Sage first got any information about Toys for Tots?
I think she just wanted to give back, and I think her mother called here to try to get information because she knew she wanted to do it, and she just needed information on how to donate them. So they had the plan that her and her mother had made, and they just wanted to do it. And that's not the first child that's ever done that. We've had that sporadically over the years that kids have wanted to donate toys if their birthdays are close to Christmas, and I'm sure the parents are thrilled that they're raising children that want to give back to the community and help other kids, and it's just a great story. We've seen that a lot over the years, and I was so happy that it went to one of the box sites where somebody else could see it firsthand, because a lot of times they come here and we take the toys and we can tell the story, but it's so much. I thought it was just great that it went to a business that's really embraced Toys for Tots and could really capture the moment, kind of like Mike Roberts always has a story every year of something that touches him, and it's a way to get our story out to different businesses in the community as well by having somebody bring a large donation like that.
That's Mr. Allied Alarm.
Yes, Mr. Allied Alarm.
Just to put it concisely, because we're going to hop to the parade here in a moment, but important things to say one more time at the conclusion of this program, promoting the really urgent need now for Toys for Tots, Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots in Chautauqua County, coordinated by the Resource Center. Terry Johnson, you would like all toys in the boxes by
December 13th.
Which is less than a week from the time this is broadcast. And as we speak on the air until 4 o'clock this afternoon, there's a major Toys for Tots related event here at the Dunham Avenue Conference Center of the Resource Center.
Yes, the holiday shopping extravaganza. You can come down and get the rest of your Christmas gifts and do some good work in the meantime. And the holiday prize drawing, which is a really great fundraiser with some great prizes. Tickets will be available for that today here, again, Saturday, as this is broadcast at the Resource Center. Absolutely. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. It's a delight to be back to help promote Toys for Tots in this area once again. And both busy professionals, Heather Brown and Terry Johnson, are both very busy professionals, and yet they take time every year to make sure that this happens and is successful. So thank you both very much. Thank you. Thank you. And now to downtown Jamestown and the excitement of the holiday parade. So at this moment, we are in downtown Jamestown, just passing Main Street on 3rd, and I'm here with Denise Jones, who is marching in the parade with the most interesting hat on. Oh, yeah, my little reindeer hat. Yeah, you don't get occasion to wear this very often, so it's kind of fun to have a time to wear this. Quite becoming, actually. Thank you. So, 15 years now, the Resource Center has sponsored this parade, and just your sense of this moment and this contribution that you make to Christmas in Jamestown. Well, it's our pleasure at the Resource Center to be part of the community. The community's embraced the organization, and we like to give back to the community. So it's really important for us. And then our connection with Toys for Tots makes this all work together for good. Well, that's the program that this is going to provide the conclusion for on the radio on Saturday as it is broadcast. And you just look around us here and see all of the faces of the young people who are obviously anxiously anticipating something on Christmas Day. And you know how important that role is. Absolutely. And the excitement around here is just heartwarming. It's just so exciting to be part of this event tonight. And actually, I'm glad the weather cleared up a little bit for us. Actually, it's not too bad to be able to walk down 3rd Street with you. I'm not shivering too much yet. The hand that's holding this microphone is not shaking too much. So, Denise, one moment for you before I leave you. What about the Christmas season is your favorite? Oh, spending time with my family. It's just so important. Family is just so important. And it's so important the people that we support as well. I know I try to get out to a lot of our homes, as many as I can during the holiday season, because some of the people we support do not have family that are close by. So it's really, really important
and fun to get out to the homes and see the excitement and the people that we support.
I think I'm slowing you up a little bit. Denise Jones, thank you very much. It's very great to see you here as the CEO of the Resource Center. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good night.
I came to this parade. That was Denise Jones, who was just on the air. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Resource Center. Now here is Patrick Smeraldo, the third of the Toys for Tots coordinators. How's it been to march across town?
It's been absolutely fabulous. I mean, it's warm once we get off that bridge a little bit with the wind, but there's, 5,000 people here or so, and it's awesome. It's absolutely fabulous. Coming through here, see it all lit up, decorated for Christmas. All the kids are out and excited. It's absolutely incredible. I
understand that the Toys for Tots Challenge is quite significant this year, with a limited amount of time between Thanksgiving and Christmas and as much demand as ever for toys.
Yeah, absolutely. We lost a week with Thanksgiving being a week back, but the community's been fantastic. This has been another way to get the word out to bring toys. We've collected some toys. There's a Jamestown police cruiser over there accepting toys. So we'll make it. Sooner or later, we'll make it.
How many years now have you been a part of Toys for Tots?
Myself, this is my 4th year. I oversee the coalition, the Children's Coalition. We've been a part of this. And, I have a 10-year relationship with the Resource Center and Denise and Heather Brown and everyone there. And it's a fabulous organization. And this is awesome that they do this for the community.
It's a 4th year as a coordinator,
Absolutely,
though.
yeah.
And, with the Children's Coalition, you must have a pretty keen idea as to how important Toys for Tots is for young people like those we see sitting on the curb there right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I am also in the schools, too. I mean, Jamestown's a 70% poverty, at the 70% poverty rate, so nobody wants to go out without at the holiday time. So we go, we do what we have to do to make sure that doesn't happen, and it's a huge need in our community. But then again, for everything I've been a part of, it's a pretty selfless one. I mean, it's awesome.
So what's the best part of Christmas for the Smeraldos?
My wife will tell you when this campaign is over, but no, my wife helps me a bunch, and my boys are 10 and 14, and they're with me at the warehouse separating toys, and their buddies come down sometimes. Just being around family, just my wife's family. They come down from Buffalo, and we'll be together from the 21st on, and just enjoy each other's company and have a fun time and enjoy Jamestown. Jamestown's coming back, Dennis. Jamestown's coming back. It's a great place to be, and this is one of the events that's going to make it great.
Well, Patrick Smeraldo, thank you very much for your time here, and thanks everybody who's listened for sharing the vision today.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Appreciate everything you do.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.